Hello out there to everyone in YouTube land. Welcome to another episode of Vital Vinyl. If you're new to the program, welcome aboard. If you're a returning satisfied customer, welcome back. I haven't done this in a while, running through this little speech thing, so if you haven't seen one of the old episodes, my name's Vernon Smith. I started collecting records back in 1988 when I was a little 14-year-old punk rock skater boy. Continued to do so until 2005 when, being from New Orleans, Hurricane Katrina came and washed them all away. And so I was like, I can't start collecting records again at 30. So here I am at 48, starting to collect records again. I actually got back into it mostly last year, but I picked up some stuff along the way. Before I lost all my stuff, I had hundreds and hundreds of records, but now I've only got like about, 50 or 60 or so, and it's just been the ones that I know are solid albums that I wanted to replace because I just love the format. It's a cool physical format. It's the only other word I can think of. Not other word, the word. That's why I just use it over and over again. So I have spent the time finding records that I knew were solid, that I liked pretty much from beginning to end, instead of like before I had albums that might have had a couple of good songs on it, but that was about it. And especially since back then, you get a record for anywhere between $3 and $12, but now they're averaging 20, 30, $40 a piece, so I don't really want to drop that kind of money on something that's just got a couple of songs that you like, especially if you're, that might be cool for one record, but if you're doing it for 100, 200 records, that seems kind of a waste of money. So most of the things that I talk about are records that are not new, which is the case with today's pick. It's one that I skipped over accidentally before because I've been going through my collection alphabetically. And today we're going to be talking about Soundgarden, the Superunknown album. Yep. Way to keep my finger on the pulse of things that are relevant. Maybe if that pulse was taken rectally. I don't know. So, this album came out in, 91, 92? Something like that. And at the time was the height of my indie punk rock skaterness, where I was too much of a punk record snob to listen to anything on a major label, for the most part. Had a few exceptions. So I wasn't really into Soundgarden too much back then. Like before this one, they had the album, it wasn't Ultra Mega OK. I mean, I know that was one of them, but whatever the album was with Outshine on it, that was like their major breakthrough hit. And yeah, it seemed a little too hair metal-y for me. I know it was kind of in that grungy scene, but it was kind of before grunge was really grunge. Like Nirvana had kind of come out, like, at least Nevermind, not Bleach, but like, Nevermind had kind of hit right around that same time, if not maybe a little bit later. But like Nirvana at least kind of sounded like some of the stuff that I was listening to. But Soundgarden was definitely like, Chris Cornell's vocals like were really, really high and screamy and waily and stuff. And so that was just a little too Sebastian Bach, Skid Row, Bret Michaels-y, Vince Neil to me, which years later I ended up like really loving all of that stuff, but at the time, like, So it was around when I was like a little kid, and so like I knew some of it, and then like whenever I was like, oh, punk is so much cooler, no one else knows about it, and I'm part of this like elite club because it's not what's on the radio and MTV. So I thought, the stuff that was out there on MTV and commercial radio was just dog shit for the masses, and I was so much better than that. But when this album came out, and it's kind of been the way with a few other things that I've liked, a lot of the songs started getting a good bit of airplay on both the radio and MTV, and I mean, like, I don't know, probably half the songs on this album had videos to them. And so I was just like hearing them and was like, all right, maybe this record's pretty good. Especially like Black Hole Sun. Like, I just remember like hearing that song, and at first I didn't really like it with like the opening vocals. And then like I saw the video and I was like, man, this song's like it's rocking in a kind of unconventional way. And yeah, then I was like, man, all these other songs are in there too, like, fucking Spoon Man, My Wave, Fell on Black Days, like a lot of really good songs. So I ended up picking up the album. It was a double LP, and this is not the one that I originally had. Because like I said, all of mine got washed away in Katrina. But so I picked up the one I did have, and I think it was on orange vinyl, which was pretty neat looking. And then I'm listening to the whole thing, and the songs were just really good, pretty heavy, mixing it up a little bit with some lighter stuff thrown in. And then like the second side of side 2 with like 4th of July and like Suicide, like those two songs are fucking awesome. They're just like really slow and heavy, and this seemed like a bit of a departure from their more metally, screamy stuff. And I wish I could remember the name of the album that Outshined was on. Bad Motorfinger. Yeah, I just looked it up. From 1991. And Superunknown was from 1994. So we'll just pretend that that was all part of the stuff I was saying before. Okay. So, kind of lost my train of thought because I kind of paused this for a second to look that up, and then had to restart my tablet because it was frozen. So, yeah, don't know what I was talking about. But yeah, orange vinyl was what I had this on before. Let me pause again and rewind it back and see what the shit I was saying. Alright, so yeah, this did seem like a bit of a departure from their stuff in 91, from Bad Motorfinger. Because a buddy of mine, I remember having the tape, and we'd drive around and listen to it, and I was like, it was okay, but wasn't really my thing. But, yeah, and that was the same year that Nevermind came out. But then this one, which I think this came out like right before or like right after Cobain killed himself, so it was kind of weird. But just a great, and then like it ends like after having those two like just slow heavy songs, 4th of July and just like Suicide, then it ends with She Likes Surprises, which for some reason I thought was a bonus track that was just on the CD. I didn't remember it being on my vinyl copy, but could be wrong. On this one though, it does have it as the last song, so yay, that was pretty cool. I picked this up last year when I was at a record store in New York City. New York City! Get a rope. Yeah. Sorry. Reference to a Pace Picante commercial from 30 years ago. Because that seems relevant. But, we're talking about an album from like 30 years ago, so screw it. It could be relevant. Kind of weird that picante sauce commercials from the late 80s and early 90s would just reference lynching because someone was a Yankee from up north. Anyway, so I picked this up in New York at a record store, the Rough Trade vinyl, I believe. Pretty famous record store, apparently. Black vinyl. Yeah. And it comes in anti-static sleeve, so that's cool, so I don't have to put it in an anti-static sleeve of my own. Double album, just like it was before. Gatefold, so you got this picture of what, Sauron's badge, I don't know, and I believe it has a booklet. It does, I believed correctly. Yeah. Opening, if you open the booklet, it's got the boys there in studio, so you could just imagine them just sitting there. Black Ocean, oh, won't you come? Won't you make the brain? And then, in keeping with the ultra clear, non-blurry photography at the front of the album, there's another one there. Oh, the boys are all smeared and trippy looking, man. Yep. Let's see. Trying to see what they got. Yeah, so this is the 20th anniversary edition. So, geez. I guess I was a little late to picking this up since the album came out almost 30 years ago. Because 20th edition would have been, if my math is right, 2014. And we're just 1 year away from 2024. So maybe I'll have to pick up another version of this. Yeah, you got the lyrics all up in there with some cool pictures. Whoa, they got hands around the planet. It's got to be a big freaking dude to be doing that. Or a tiny planet. Oh, man. Then a ground with some sticks growing out of it. And a lady's head. What's a lady's head doing in the ground? I didn't know you could plant ladies. Ooh, and then a picture of whatever the hell that is. But yeah. Not a whole lot of liner notes or anything. But I guess that's all right. And for some reason, I cannot remember the fourth guy's name in this. I know there's Chris Cornell, Kim Thayil, Matt Cameron, and Stuart Copeland. Why not? Ben Shepherd. That's right. That was the bass player. Ben Shepherd. Big Ben the Clock. What? So yeah, after this one, I also got the follow-up album. Down on the Upside. Had that on vinyl as well. Got it as a birthday present from an ex-girlfriend. And things didn't work out so well between us. She moved away and then started dating some like goth musician or something. Ooh, so he was all evil. But we're still cool to this day. And yeah, that one was pretty good too. Not as good as this. It was kind of like, it seems like a lot of bands when they have like a kick-ass album that comes out about halfway through their career, they do a follow-up and it's kind of that album light or that album 2.0, like think about like American Idiot for Green Day, great album, and then followed up with 21st Century Breakdown, which was kind of like that album but not as much. That's kind of what Down on the Upside was for Superunknown, in my humble opinion, of course. But if you disagree, call me up, tell me. Phone's not ringing, so I guess I'm right. I guess that's good because I record this with my phone camera, so yeah, but I don't have the vinyl version of Down on the Upside anymore, but I do have it on my iPod, so I do occasionally listen to it every now and then. And I also do now have finally gotten into the age of streaming, like about 5 or 10 years too late. But I don't really care for streaming too much because I'd rather have a physical form of media, even if it is just a download on my iPod. But I am kind of using it more in my home setup and just have it kind of, downloaded. Got like the Amazon Music on an old iPhone 5 that I got. So got that running through the receiver to listen to. I mean, the quality is better than MP3s, especially since a lot of the MP3s that I downloaded were from back in the Napster and LimeWire days, where a lot of it was just kind of doo-doo patchoodoo quality. So, yeah, kind of digging the lossless and whatever that means quality of the stuff that's on the streaming stuff. So once I burn through all the records, I'll probably start doing Vital Digital instead of Vital Vinyl, and I can talk about the stuff that I got on my iPod and that I've been streaming on my phone, just because I like talking about this stuff and I don't want this to end, and I'm only a few records away from being in my collection, and I haven't bought any new records because I've kind of been getting vintage stereo stuff, but I'm kind of done with that as well, hopefully. So yeah, if you haven't listened to Superunknown in the past 30 years and you've been like, man, I want an average stumbly rambly review that doesn't really go into too much depth before I make up my mind, well, now you've got that. So listen to someone that you don't really know. It's a great album and you should go get it. And if you don't want to buy it, search around here on YouTube. You'll find it and you can listen to it first. So I'll let you go do that now, okay? Have a blessed day.